While we're here, hello everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Saturday afternoon. I guess I had too much fun yesterday. No, that's not why I'm late. We had a show scheduled for.
Some of you may be aspiring to positions of leadership in the political arena, but the question is, why do you want to lead? In Africa, the shortest route to ill-gotten wealth is political leadership. If you want to get wealth without working for it at all, join African politics. My people, where you at? Where you at? Working for your stomach. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us more, yeah? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
The people who us, the people like us.
I have no copyright to this music. Absolutely no copyright.
The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal. I can retire with their lies. Retire with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. Retire with that speech they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us.
Yeah.
So why does you lie? Why does you steal? Why does you lie? There's tendencies to be. See, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
Wow. The people fool us, the people lie to us. If we call the last government lying to us, then what just happened to us? How actually, what just happened to us? Who are we at this point? We will start our regular song. Just wanted to start up with that. Liberia is lifted, and we have to speak life into the nation. And then we will have this conversation. Tonight, we will be talking about the only way forward is the full implementation of TRC. This is the prelude to the chair of the TRC appearing on the Bridge Radio on Monday evening. And I'm hoping that everybody tune in there after he's gonna come over here. And we're gonna start a lot of work that needs to be done. Yes, and I've been making rounds to get everyone involved, especially advocates involved, that if we must save Liberia, this would be the route to take. Again, this is the prelude, and this is a conversation that we need to have and reinforce. It is important. It is important to date, to date for all of us to be involved. The reason being is, Emmanuel, check your inbox. Hey now, my beautiful cousin. Emmanuel, check your inbox. I need you to how you call it so I can bring you on. Emmanuel is gonna be here. Lofa is gonna be here. We're gonna speak. Oh, Emmanuel is here. Or it's Lofa that is here. We're gonna speak for why I keep having this supposed to be second thought. Okay, let me see if I can all right, let me bring, and I will change this name. Let me see who's here. Attending a panelist is here. Who is that? Okay, who is the panelist? We do have a panelist here. So we do have a person here. Okay, so let me rename. And I keep doing this, but you keep changing back to Emric. Yeah. We are on second time, man. If that's you that is there, I'm about to bring you in. Give me 1 second. This is on our second thought, okay? Yep, we will change a lot of stuff. So let's change this. The one panelist here. Not sure what is going on. Attendees. Julius is here. Okay. So I'm gonna get Julius on, then I'm gonna get Emmanuel on. Yeah, so he's here. There he is. Emmanuel, you check your inbox and you will be here. Julius, welcome to your second thought. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. We see what is playing out in Liberia. We can fight each other all we want because maybe people send us a little dollar here, a little dollar here to pay our bills, to pay our rent, to pay our phone bills. And we feel that we can, just fight one another for that. For me, it's not, this is not to brag. I'm here for the Liberian people. If I have to work 2, 3 jobs, I would do that. I'm here to leave Liberia in a better hand than it was dealt me. There go Emmanuel. So I'm gonna get all of the guys on. Yay, everyone is here literally. Emmanuel is here. Yes. So I'm gonna, Julius is here, Emmanuel is here. Great, great. Hold on for me for a second. There they are, there they are. Emmanuel, we want to see your camera. Julius, welcome. You got your background set. You're still working on my background. What's my background? You are muted. You are muted, Julius. You are muted.
Yeah, I noticed. I
Why
got myself on.
I need your camera on, guys. Welcome to Second Thought. I think we need to start shifting the conversation. Emmanuel conversation had not shifted. Emmanuel is literally like a hook that we call him. He busts literally everyone's butt, from every arena of the place someday. I'm totally like, what's going on with him? And Lofra reminds me of myself when I was young, maybe about 10 years ago. Yeah, 10, maybe a little more. I was in a room one day with my cousin at the time, with the minister of, I'm not going to say, but his name is Patrick. And we were having a conversation and he said to me, Cindy, you are too idealistic. You can't survive in Liberia. I would strongly advise that you stay in America. You can't survive Liberia. So I'm not sure how true is that today. So when Lofa talk, when Lofa interact, he reminds me of that place where my opinion was my opinion, it was my belief, and nothing else could shift it. Even now when he calls me on, he will call me out, but he does not call me in public on some decision I make or things I say, and I will say, Lofa, I'm learning diplomacy. And he would say, no, sis, yeah, but you got to do it this way. I said, no, I let you, the young people, do, but we approach it from this angle. But let's have a conversation. God, share this video, why it is essential to have our own way out, whether we want to believe it or not, okay? So let's go look at why do we think that the last, and I'm not going to say a particular name, okay? Why do we think that the last administration lied to us about giving us what will do us some degree justice, equitable justice? Why did we go to the pool believing that this time around they were going to be corrected? We were going to have equitable justice. So I'm going to start with Emmanuel, and I will go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, before we go, and I'd like to emphasize on the benefits, okay? But why are we being denied at this point? You're still on mute. Now you can speak.
Yes, Cindy, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I think we've been denied justice because the present administration wants to continue the very same corruption that past administrations were involved with. That's the reason why they are skipping justice, they are skipping accountability. Don't forget the campaign on those things, and they finally arrived there. If we implement this, it could affect us from stealing, or it could affect us from re-election. So by continuing impunity, these people have recognized in Liberia that a certain bunch of people can run the country. That's why they want their politics to be in a certain way. You don't have slow politics surviving there. You got to be some strong advocate fighting, be controversial, And that's exactly what they are doing to the gullible people of Liberia. Just because they want to continue impunity, continue leadership, bad governance, and continue to steal, that's why they did not implement the TRC up to this time.
So let's talk about it. It's not just stealing though. There are also killing going on. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to delve into this allegedly because we've been following this story about this young man, Miller, Mr. Miller, from, in fact, when the Nima game, the semi-final happened and Nima Kante had won.
Yeah.
Usually I listen now, I have a sister who is a pastor or an evangelist. She says sometimes you have to look at and listen to the unspoken words, right? Things that people are not saying, watch the environment. So as I sat there, while people were yelling, Nimba, there's that, they won, blah, 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 they're going to the final. And that's on the intercom, there are people on the air and saying there are people around the building with arm and ammunition, cutlasses, machete, people that need the Liberian National Police out there. So I go in some of the chat room I'm in, and I'm telling people that you're here that I so and so people, all right. And a lot of people didn't hear it until I recorded it and started posting it in the chat room. I will look for it and we can play it later until people find that. So not only that, Liberia have become lawless, okay? We remember the young man when this $16 billion disappeared, the 25 million followed it. Then Matthew Innes died.
Yeah.
Then Representative Lawrence have gone out to celebrate his birthday party, and that Monday or Tuesday we're returning to section to inquire as to what killed Matthew Innes. He ended up dying. But not only did he die, we watched him take his last breath on Facebook. Am I correct so far? They recorded him as he was fighting for his life with two guys in the back of his car, looking for something on him and in the back of his car. We could recognize their voices in a nation where let me bring everybody on because I'm talking. Yeah, Lofi is here. In a nation where there's semblance of humanity and rule of law, these people would have been found and cut, especially in the technological age. Somebody like Julius, if you bring that voice, he can recognize, he can find that voice if that voice had ever been on the internet. We have talent, we have technology to do that. Why you think it's that? Because it's not only money. They're killing people.
Yasendi, to be very honest with you, there is a reason why I don't defend politicians. I support them and then I bash them when I see them going wrong, because there is something in our politics called the common enemy love affairs.
Okay.
What do I mean by that?
Emmanuel, hold on 1 second. Emmanuel, 1 second. I love when this man shows up because he gets to listen to us. AB Darius Dillon, that's not him that is speaking. I thought that was him. Usually he shows up to listen to see what the people are saying, but that's not him. Go ahead, sir. Yes.
There's something that I described, and the phrase is not from me. I give credit to Kelvin Yeaher. It's called the common enemy love affairs. So what we have done in the past is we have achieved removing one Liberian for the other. And that's the only achievement we have. So I don't like Sis Ya. And then I say, you know what, I don't like Yasendi. So I'm going to support somebody that definitely don't like her as well. And that's the only thing that we're doing. If you look at Liberia today, there is nothing that happened now, that is happening now, that didn't happen then.
Before.
Same process over and over again. The same thing that continued to happen in the Republic of Liberia. The people continue to suffer, impunity reign, and there is one advocacy that I believe is going to end all of this. People will continue to be killed in Liberia, and all of you listening. There will be sufferings of the masses. In fact, at the very length and breadth of Liberia, it will continue to increase in the Republic of Liberia unless we come to the realization that the best advocacy out there is War and Economic Crimes Court. And why is it the best? I'll say that quickly. If you look at ECC, Economic Crimes Court, it cut across every sector. Imagine Emmanuel Sabin with nothing in Canada, arrived in Liberia, became a government official, or even elected government official, appointed. and in the next 2-3 years, I own a $200,000 property. If that is not economic crimes in the eyes of Liberians that suffer, in the eyes of Liberians that have no education, that have no hospital, no medication, the people die every day. And if you read the TRC report, many think that it's all about the war. No, people are dying because of economic vampires in the Republic of Liberia. If you look at the budget of government, you wonder, are we even in 2 billion, 3 billion? You come to realize it's no. Whether the person seems to be a good politician or a bad politician, we are getting the same results. We're going nowhere. If we don't implement the TRC and get serious about war and economic crimes code in the Republic of Liberia, I am telling you, Sis, yeah, we will replace George Manuel Weah and celebrate the victory temporarily, and Liberia will continue to retrogress. And I'll tell you about retrogression. I was a little boy when Simon Doe was leading. Ellen then told that Doe was a public figure or dictator stealing Liberian people money. But I'll be the first to admit that as poor as my parents were, life was better. And life deteriorates. It deteriorates even under Charles Taylor. It deteriorates under transitional leadership. It deteriorates under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It has gotten worse under George Manuel Weah. Because
Emma Sawyer, yes.
We have allowed impunity to reign in the Republic of Liberia. And unless we scare these people with war and economic crimes code, we are going to continue to see folks stealing from government void and made Liberians to suffer immensely in the Republic of Liberia. And that's why we have kept our advocacy only on war and economic crimes code.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So let me ask Lofa. Lofa, talk to us, because most people think when they say war and economic crimes court, they're just going to Liberia to grab maybe Prince Johnson, Alhaji G.V. Nkrumah and throw them in jail. What's your thought? I know you have extensive study of you got the document printed out, even the RCC bylaws and constitution, you have those printed out. You're going through at least the public version of the TRC report. What are the benefits, some of the benefits that Liberians need to look at?
Okay. Let me first of all start by saying thanks to your audience. Thanks to those of you who always take upon yourselves to listen to advocates, whether in Liberia or in the diaspora, wherever it may be. I think it's very important that this conversation be held so that we can, start not only the fact that the process has started, but the implementation aspects of it. We need to push it even more. And in order for us to do that, these conversations have to be held. It would not sound, not so many people will like to hear it, because the hard truth, as human, we don't like the truth. When people tell us the truth, we get defensive. Some of us get offended. And we categorize people based on certain other things. So I just want to say thanks to everyone who have devoted their time to, participating in the idea of advocating for the war and economic crimes code in Liberia. Now, with that said, let me say this: is the entire process with the implementation of the war and economic crimes code. This is not all in one kind of thing where you just grab everybody, like the Prince Johnson, even the Ellen, okay, Madam Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, who, and a lot of time I say this to people, today I see people trying to help Ellen. She paid to have your people killed, all right? Even if you at the time may not have been upstairs, mentally to say, the Constitution states, or the recommendation that was made by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Their recommendation was that Ellen or anyone who participated in the war should not be given public office. And that is true. That is what was recommended. Okay. But then what did Ellen do? Knowing that she knew her way around with the Constitution, and at the time, the state of mind of our people we are tired We don't want to have to go back to war. We are just sick and tired. We just want to move Liberia forward. So anybody who at that point in time could come and say, hey, I think I could do it. I have the connection. I have people out there in the international community who are willing to support me to take Liberia from the ground to where we want to see her. People are like, you know what? We're sick and tired of this. We will support you. It happened with Charles Taylor. People supported Charles Taylor, not because of whatever reason. If you read extensively on the history of Liberia, and if you read what really took place, you will come to the realization that people was like, we don't want to go back to war. Our people have died. We're tired. Charles Taylor, here, take it. You be the president so our kids can go to school. You be the president so we can have peace and stability. And when
So we
Charles
can be able to
Taylor
move around. Yes, sir.
people were
Yes.
so hungry. They were literally hungry for peace. They wanted time. Ellen, yeah, come on, go on. But this is a woman who paid, okay? She admitted to investing tens of thousands of dollars to the purchases
Hello?
of guns and
Yeah, can you hear me?
supporting the raping and killing of your family members. Now, what is going to happen with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? They're not simply, they have done one part of it, that is the investigative work. They're not going back to do any more investigation because the Truth and Reconciliation Commission have already done that part and they have made the recommendation. I see a lot of time people will say, oh, the TRC report, we already implemented the TRC. We are done with it. No. As the name clearly states, it is the Truth and Reconciliation. The compile is the compilation of data. You take all of this information, they reach out to those who were involved. They reach out to the victims, the perpetrators and the victims. They gather information, okay? And then based on the facts finding, they'll present it and say, okay, this is what we find. Now, based on our finding, we are recommending these things be done. And if you go through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the documentation, it tells you they recommended that, you know, the implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court. That is part of the recommendation. But those perpetrators will always try to manipulate their way through and say, you know what? The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC report also recommended Palava Hut, okay? But they would not also take into consideration where it says we can also implement the War Crimes Court. And in addition to the War Crimes Court, the Economic Crimes Court only support the fact that, again, I go back to Ellen. The reason I continue to go back on Ellen is that this support my claim or my idea that Ellen, who is, of course, a war criminal, she's an economic criminal, and that's how I refer to her, but she's now being celebrated around the world. She's being celebrated around the world with all of these different awards and recognitions, but they're not also taking into consideration the fact that, look, Ellen, you sponsor the death of thousands of Liberians. Not only did you do that, but you also went further by sabotaging the economy of the state. You took your kids. You literally squandered the resource of an entire nation that left a bunch of our young men and women thinking like militants. They're not thinking like regular people. No. It's all about them. That militancy. Even when you engage young men, just the basic ethics and morals, all of those things would have been given to us. How Ellen and her entourage not literally squander our resources and today want to behave like they know it all. So the implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court is not just a one dick and dump kind of thing. It's a process, and the process have already started. We have the recommendation that was made by the TRC, and now the next thing is we are looking over to the government. Let me tell you folks, this is one thing that people don't understand. And I hear people go all the time, oh, if Liberia, if the government refuses to implement the TRC, it's not going to get implemented. That is not true. Let me tell you this. It is only based on the request of the people. Today is Emmanuel Savas. You're hearing his voice. And as people gravitate more towards it, let me tell you that it is being noticed. And the international community is listening because Liberia is a member of the ICC. We're considered the Rome Statute states. We signed, our signature have been affixed to that document. So that binds us to the Constitution. And under the Rome Statute state, it also protects the citizens of the member states. So if the government refuses to implement what is requested from the citizens, the Rome Statute, that body of people, okay, they can also actually come in based on the request from the citizens and definitely go about with the implementation of the war crime. Let nobody lie to you that if the government don't act, they're only giving the government the right because they don't, the ICC don't just want to come and jump in Liberia and say, okay, we want to do it. They want to give the government the power, the mandate that is already there to provide security for the people, because that is that is exactly what that's the priority of any government. First and foremost, to provide security and protection for her citizens. Now, if they refuse to do it, the ICC will take the law because it is clearly stated in the Constitution that it could be done that way.
Thank you so much, Lofa. Let me go back to Emmanuel. Before I go back, let me acknowledge one or two persons on the line. I literally met Emmanuel, to actually get to work with him about 2 years ago, just on this particular one, Economic Crimes Court, and he have never wavered. There were a lot of people who came along this path, and some people got discouraged, some people needed to regain their strength. They're still in the process, but he has continued. We all have continued, and Lofa and all of these people have then come on and joined. But I wanted to say to one of our advocates, more and more, happy birthday. We are all the February, the water bearer. You can love us, you can hate us, but that's just us. We are the water bearer. And the shirt I'm wearing, this is my first African shirt ever. I'm not talking about print shirt. Woven with him, my sister May, I'm not gonna call her last, and send this to me. And my sister-in-law, Doc, brought it, and I'm wearing it today. I look like I'm from Israel. It's beautiful. It's really soft. The texture is, and not to deviate. I just want to acknowledge those people. And then to say to all of you who, and to date, about maybe a week ago, who started wishing me happy birthday. Listen, I feel so brand new. And yesterday, thank you for your celebration. Again, I'm still responding. It will take me a couple of days, but I'm going to acknowledge each and every one of you, because each and every one of you take your time to acknowledge my particular day, 50 long years and counting. So I'm excited about that. But let's continue the conversation, guys. Let's get this number to 200. We can listen to people screaming and talking, and we can listen to. So let me say this. If the War and Economic Crimes Code had been implemented, where the rule of law, Yeke would not have been denied today to go see. Imagine this, Emmanuel. A setting, let's forget everything else, what luggages he come with, okay? But let's forget about that. Just in a country where the law works, a certain lawmaker, those are the people who actually keep the president in check. For him to be denied, everybody can leave. Some of them can leave for 1 year. To be denied medical attention, for a man to go to wash again and be brutalized, for a young man who went to protest for his voice to be heard, to be sodomized and brought in the street naked, and the family are afraid to speak. Do you think if the War and Economic Crimes Code does not happen, these crimes will not increase? Emmanuel, that's to you. This is what you quest for. Emmanuel? Emmanuel, ooh.
I think Emmanuel,
Okay.
He probably.
I just took him off mute. A phone is still, he's not moving.
Yeah, I think he probably just need to he need to just cancel and come back on. Just
And come back on. Okay. Lofa, can you answer that for us? Let me inbox him.
You mind repeating?
Guys, the 100, hold on, Lofa, the 166 of you, okay? I haven't even seen 100 share of it. If you can share this, okay? Because this information needs to be gotten. It is essential that we pass this information on. My friends are not your friends. Again, I'm not sure. This weekend supposed to be when I'm taking off the blacklist. I've been on the prison bench for literally 3 months. So you share, because even if I share, your friends, all of your friends are not my friends. I'm only entitled to so many friends. So to penetrate the most possible people to get this information, so it's not secondhand that, oh, they're just coming to get Alhaji GB Nkrumah, they're only coming to get Prince Johnson, oh, they're only coming to get this person. No, no, no. So Lofa, talk to us while we get Emmanuel ready to come on.
Okay. And you know, like you rightfully stated, you made it clear that some of the things that are happening in Liberia.
Okay, he just came back and went off.
Yeah, now he's on. He's on. Emmanuel's on.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on. But like you
Okay,
rightfully stated,
internet is unstable. Okay, go ahead.
The state of mind, and I continue. One of the things that I have stated since I got myself involved into discussing national issues, and I'm on a show like, okay, and I say since I got myself involved in discussing national issues, I see the vast majority of the impact from Ellen. I know people will say, why you continue to attack Madam Ellen Sutton-Johnson? You know, just like we sit here today and we have the opportunity to raise funds. A lot of time you would notice that the diaspora Liberians these days, when they raise funds, it's not allocated towards the purchasing of weapons to go and destroy our country. It's either invested one way or the other to development, either mental development, social development, these kind of things, because the generation of today, we have been heavily impacted by what took place in our country. And so the generation after us have nothing to look forward to. And if we don't put in place the needed mechanisms so that they can have a foundation to build on, and move forward with, you would notice that a lot of the things that they will do will be contrary to what our ethics, moral, or cultural belief is as Liberians. You have lawyers. Like a lot of time when I listen to Emmanuel Salves, Emmanuel would say, we don't have politicians in Liberia who really cares about the citizens, which is true. You don't have politicians. You have party trickers. You have people who are party tricking. You got people who are supposed to be serving in a capacity of lawmakers. They are serving as though they're humanitarians. Yeah. Since when did the House of Representatives or the senators became humanitarians, where they will look you in the eyes and say, I have not drafted any policy that will benefit the citizens or my constituents as a whole, but I have built a school. I have built a school, and our people don't think for themselves and say, look, hold on. Because Liberia by itself, the system is so fraudulent that the people are not protected, okay? They don't have retirement funds. They don't have pension that will adequately pay out. So what do these guys do? They say, you know what? The best way to invest my money or save my money is by investing either in a clinic or a school, academic institution, or healthcare institution. Because when I retire or when the people don't vote me no more, as the people are literally gravitating towards bettering the lives and understanding what is happening, one day they will realize that Prince Johnson or one of those other senators or representatives have never been
George Bully
about themselves. So they invest in schools that is all for them, because when they leave tomorrow, that institution is not yours. It's not yours.
No.
They can organize how they want those institutions to be run. Now, if it is public funded, okay, if it is a public institution that was built based off a policy, let's say your senators or representatives go and draft a policy that say every county, every district should have a public school built, and it should be funded by the government. This is amended. This is a law that is put in place. When these lawbreakers leave, when they leave, it's not theirs. The public still own it. You own it. Your kids own it. Why you think today the Tarberts and other people own properties that they still get money for?
And the government is still renting it. Yes, correct. That is correct.
This is the way they have decided to invest. They play on your mind to say, at least we are invested in the country. You know what? If you got such a bright mind that you can think of investing in the academic institution, education, healthcare, my friend, go back there, suggest this at the Senate level. where you can lobby with other representatives, other senators. Let's implement something so that when we leave, the next generation of people will benefit from it. Don't come, start your own personal business and pretend to the people like you are doing it for them. No, you're not doing it for them. This is your way of investing for your retirement or when you get booted out of the house. And that is why I continue to say, do not hire, do not support the idea of those lawbreakers who continue to present themselves to you as humanitarians. You did not elect humanitarians. You elected lawmakers who will stand on your behalf.
Thank you so much, Lofa. Let me go back to Emmanuel. This is hot today, guys. Thank you. Please continue to share the video as I've asked. I'm going back to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, I just critical, I mean, and Lofa, Kim, and Brian Moore. I'm not sure if you heard the question I asked earlier, but here is my question to you. We've been on this journey for a very long time. You're going to be in Liberia in March, okay? We'll all will be making contribution. Folks, I posted, I know when you talk about contribution, if we were talking to get people in the street in Liberia, people would be sending money and all of that. Let me say something to all of us, to Liberians that are listening. And I will speak about me, this platform. I will speak about Lofa platform because I know I will speak about Emmanuel platform because I know how much money Emmanuel has spent. I know last year how much money, because Emmanuel was in Liberia November 2018. Emmanuel, am I right so far?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we're in Liberia April 5th, 2019, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. And Emmanuel spent thousands of dollars. I know there are a lot of us who will send 50 here, 100 here. Then we'll call the next person and say, oh, the advocate, then they're taking money for all, they don't make report. No. We have never been that kind of advocate. I can speak for me, I can speak for Emmanuel, I can speak for Lofa. Okay. For me, if you send the money on GoFundMe, it's there. So the calculation is made. If you send it to my inbox, that means you don't want your name to be called. I call and say, oh, the person, you know, give. Like for instance, when we collected the money when for Yeke, you know, 18, a little over 1,800 after GoFundMe took her fees. I still say 1,800, so I got to eat the fees. And Jesse sent it. And that's one of the reasons with me, I really don't like to collect money because Liberian people with a money business, they will spoil your name so fast. But let me say this to you. Whether you give $1,000, I can guarantee you Emmanuel is going to double that 1,000. He's going to, because he has to pay his way from Canada and go to Liberia. Kevin have to go with him. He got to meet people on the ground. I know there are people that are called to join him and other things that we have to do in the back to be a part of. And Liberians have to understand this. As much as we have our own quest for justice, but we have a holistic stand for justice for all Liberians, all 250,000, and those that continue to die. So Emmanuel, tell us, because it's good to have a personal touch. Why are you making all of these sacrifices? Why?
Yeah, Cindy, it's simple because I have witnessed Liberian politics as a kid. I didn't even understand what politics was all about. We've had our own sufferings in that society that made us travel and go through so many sacrifices. Our brothers and sisters died on the ocean trying to make their way to North Africa, places like Morocco, Libya, Algeria, just for a better living. They didn't find one. Some of them found their death. You know, and some of them are still struggling. Some of them are in prison today because our government created a situation where we can't live there. So I have made a lot of observation. That is why you have seen that I have refused to commit myself to any politician in the Republic of Liberia, even though I see good politics in some of them. And of course, there are some bad politics as well. And then some of them are just outrightly bad. But let's look at the Liberian situation. And Lofa Julius put it right. These people understand the gullibility of Liberians. So they turn to be people advocating on their behalf. They are looking for jobs and they pretend like they care. I asked myself a question. How is it in a country like Liberia, you have lawmakers building technical colleges, but the government cannot? Why would lawmakers break grounds for technical colleges, but the government cannot afford it? Why will lawmakers drive $40,000, $50,000 car in an economy that is so bad with a budget just over $500,000? Even the amount is lower than what diaspora Liberians were sent to the Republic of Liberia. I've made my observation, and I've been in Liberia 3 times. The GoFundMe in Spain for those who want to support our march theory for justice is there. And I'll tell you, yes, and thanks to you, to other folks, Lofa Julius, all of those who put their $5, $10 here. We have never been able to raise $2,000. It has cost us so much money. When we go to Liberia, we got to get people paid their way to go to the rally. We try to do our best. And you know, I'll tell you, some of the people you praise today, they don't care about justice. For example, I always say, and I see Darius DeLong watching right now, so I'm going to call him on the spot. People love him. I love part of his politics. I don't love a certain part of his politics where he discriminates. I don't like his politics where he agrees to take $40,000, $50,000 cars. I am more a Liberian to support the good in somebody and still tell them you're wrong here.
You're wrongdoing, yes.
We don't have
Yes.
that in us. We praise until we turn the person to a dictator or a tyrant that even when they speak against us. So I was in Liberia in November. I paid a visit to Darius DeLong and told him of the War and Economic Crimes Court. And we met at an entertainment center. And Darius DeLong lied to me. I called him several times. And he finally called me the next day, I'll be there. And you know what? That was it. I went and gave him a t-shirt. He never shows up. I went back in 6 months and called him again. Same story. These are the kind of politicians praying for a better Liberia and avoiding war and economic crimes court. So in as much as you have the good politics in one person in Darius DeLong that you love, because I love some of his politics, the politics of information dissemination, that is where I love him the best. But is Liberia changing because of the elections of any officials? No. Liberia is still declining. Our folks in the diaspora that should know better are not knowing better. They are involved in the common enemy love affairs. Anyone who hates WIA must be your friend. We get rid of WIA and we continue the same problems. And these are the things that I am against as a Liberian. I speak against it. And I know that the only way forward in the Republic of Liberia is by the implementation of the TRC, War and Economic Crimes Code, in which those who have committed heinous crimes can face justice or exonerate themselves from a court of competent jurisdiction, or economic crimes code, not even or, in economic crimes code, which means those that build houses with money that they did not have from their salaries, they need to justify that. Those who were able to send their children to school in the United States and other parts of the diaspora, working in the government, they need to prove all of these things. Those who have had some multi-million-dollar business or businesses in Liberia and around the world, just because of government offices and government money, we need to investigate that. Unless we do that, we will continue to roll in poverty in the Republic of Liberia. We will support one person over the other. We will retrogress. We will never, as a country, improve anything. And that is the advocacy that I see. It's not just because Emmanuel Savin lost his family, or Sis Ya lost a family, or Lofa Julius lost a family. This is actually what we need to do. But let me tell you the sad part, Yaseni. I see folks talk about, I don't just follow the wind. That's not true. Liberians do follow the winds. When you look on social media today, you will understand why President WIA is president of the Republic of Liberia, and nobody's observing. I've seen some decent advocacy out there, not even in Emmanuel Savage, but in other individuals like Lofa Julius, like Conor Gray. Like, I'm not even going to mention you because you are breaking all barriers and being able to attract a lot of different people in other ways. Look at the advocacy that gain attention in the Republic of Liberia. The advocacy of Marcos, the advocacy of blackmailing, the advocacy of people who are fighting for themselves and pretending.
Speak, Emmanuel, speak, yeah.
Those are the other kind of advocates that are being sold to educated / illiterate people who are involved in the common enemy love affairs, but they are pretending to want a better Liberia when in fact, they don't want a better Liberia. It's just a hit for certain individuals.
They want their own chance too. Yes, look, their own chance too.
Let me just tell you something. It says, yeah, Liberians are not against corruption. And when I say Liberians, I mean,
Oh,
the
yes.
majority. It's only when they are not involved. When they are
Yeah.
not involved, then have you not seen the pardon of Unity Party partisan talking about corruption and the oil block sale in the Republic of Liberia when they sold enough during their time without any conformity from the national legislature that meets requirements of the Liberian constitution. You have seen all of these things, but they want us to say, but you know what? The reason why we don't have war and economic crimes court, it's not because of the locals. It's because of we diaspora Liberians. It's because we are the one who have a voice and can afford a lot. But we decide to support the wrong thing in the Republic of Liberia. I do not owe war and economic crimes court campaign. It's for all of us. Every one of us lost our family and went through a lot. Maybe you think being in America is an
And still
achievement.
going through a lot.
Maybe you think it's been an achievement. Look, I'm telling you, I knew the Liberia that I came from when I was a kid. My mother is an uneducated woman that was able to take care of me and my family, my sisters, my brothers. She did not even need circular education to be able to work. Liberia was better. Liberia is retrogressing, and nobody wants to pay for what has transpired in the Republic of Liberia. When you talk about war and economic crimes code, you have politicians in power. I will tell you, forget
Emmanuel,
that.
give me 1 second. You're
Go ahead,
floating, and I
man.
really don't
Go
want
ahead.
to. One of our justice advocate, Franklin, we said is trying to log in. We're working on it. He's going to be a part of this conversation, guys. I want to thank you. We're at 210. We can get to 300. I need you to share. I really need you to share. Go ahead.
I want to buttress. Let me just buttress something Emmanuel said.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lufa. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You know, Emmanuel mentioned the the common enemy law of affair issue. My dad used to say the divide and rule method. You know, in the home where when a child needs to be chastised, or when something is when the child understands they're doing wrong, then they don't go to mommy no more to ask as to whether they can go to the skating rink. They're not going to daddy because they either understand that they're in trouble with mommy, so they can't ask mommy for the $2 or $3 that is needed to go to the skating rink. This is exactly what your politicians in Liberia are doing too.
And what some of the advocates too, the Mayan Papas advocates are doing. Yeah.
And what some of these people like, and I say this all the time, like people like Mo Ali. When did Mo Ali realize that Liberian needed justice?
Exactly.
When did Mo Ali, after the wine on the table is finished with Ellen, now you realize that Liberian need justice? Why we say that we should not have to go back? I think it's only right that we hold people accountable for their actions. Okay, we hold people accountable for their action and involvement in our society, so that way the next generation of people who will come, the next generation of leaders will understand that accountability, accountability is a must, and we will hold everybody accountable for their actions. You cannot come to public office and exhibit a little bit, completely ignorant to basic ethics, morals, and then you expect to be respected. These kind of things, we don't do them here.
Yeah.
We here, those of us who live in the diaspora, okay? We go to work when you're supposed to be to work at 8 o'clock. Some of you get up at 6 in the morning, even if it takes you 30 minutes to drive to work. You will get up at 6 in the morning because you want to be in on time, and you got to clock in, okay? When you go to Liberia, it is the opposite. The lawbreakers, I don't refer to them as lawmakers. I refer to them as lawbreakers. They do the opposite. Instead of them having to uphold the law so that the common people can follow suit, they break the law and then they try to exercise the law against the common people, which I say that what I consider hypocrisy. That is just literally the opposite of what should be done in Liberia. In Liberia, people push forth the agenda that people want to hear.
Yeah.
People, and I say this again, some of our people are so gullible. They only want to hear what they want to hear. Selective hearing is what some of us have. We want to hear, like Emmanuel said, everybody, because everyone go against George Weah. So anybody who come out, anything you say against George Weah, whether it's logical or not, everybody will gravitate towards you. Oh, you're saying something against George Weah. Now you become an advocate. Now you become the guy that everybody wants to listen to. Whether you say it on the platform where you're propounding on issues that we need to focus on, whether you're proffering ideas and suggestions as to how the government can better the situation, nobody want to listen to that because you're not speaking against George Weah. So there's no reason for anybody to listen to you. But when you come out and start to engage some of these people, the very people who will say we are in the interest of you Liberians are the people who do not want to be held accountable. How can you fight corruption with corruption?
Yeah.
How can you fight corruption with, you come out and you say, I'm going to represent you, but you can't. We are yet to see or hear of any of the representatives, the lawmakers who voted in favor or against any of the appointment that was made. I challenge anybody, and I was told, and I supported Honorable Darius DeLong, okay? And I still support him. But we were promised that some of this information would have been made available because we got 2023 coming up. 2023 is right next door. We have election coming up.
It's in October. Yes.
We want to know the name of those who are voting in favor of some of the appointments that are being made that the general public speak against. We want the names, but we're not getting this information. We were promised these things, that these information will be made available. I'm yet to see it, so that our people, we can use these are informations that we can use to help educate our people. You remember when you said this person was incompetent or this person should not have been approved to that position, but guess what? Sando Johnson voted for. Darius DeLong voted against. These are public information. It should not be held in some kind of secret box.
A secret little room. Yeah.
You should know how people are either advocating or speaking on behalf of the people. You cannot keep these information away from the people and then pretend to be in the interest of the people. That's two-sided. We are wondering. We are not yet juggling. The soccer ball, the days of soccer is over. George Weah plays soccer. He now extended to the presidency. Bravo to him. We are not juggling the ball no more. We are here speaking about sensitive issues that matter today, where young boys and girls get raped all the time. Nothing is done about it. No justice.
Boys too.
And it's going to help. You hear about it 2 or 3 days in the media, and that's it. It cuts out. Young women, okay, people get killed in the streets. Nothing has been done. The first and foremost, the priority of any government is to protect its people, provide the basic necessities, education, food, healthcare. Is that being made available today?
Yes,
I would say
security.
No. But look, people like Ben Sanvi, after Ben Sanvi, again, another person who the other day, he came out. All of a sudden, Ben Sanvi jumped up. Now he realized that President Weah is supposed to be a bad person. Ben Sanvi, a young man who's supposed to be smart, you sat there. You fell for it. You fell for it. You literally lured our people into the calamity that they find themselves in today. Down, all of a sudden now you realize that the people are supposed to be saved. Ben Sanvi, when did you realize? You know, some of these things, I have not been involved in Liberian politics, but you can sit and see that our people are we are just hypocrite. We are just a bunch of hypocrites towards our very own self. We use our people to gain what we want, and then we trash them like they're nothing. We can't do that. We got to fight this time for the next generation of people. We got to build their foundation, and every young man in our country, every young woman should be held accountable for their action as we go forward.
Thank you, Love. Let me go back to you, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, how do we arrive at this? And what each and every one of us, if this is true, if we truly want, because, you know, I'm going back here. I was in Monrovia doing the campaign. And I remember you being on Facebook projecting. And whenever you projected, you had like 20 and 20 some more thousand at the time. Everybody loved George Weah, right?
Yeah.
So literally, you had some of the highest number on Facebook and on air, people calling. You were bombarded with. Sometimes you have to literally beg the people to get up there, right? Because at the time, that's what they wanted. Emotionally, that's what they thought they wanted. Yeah. So today, we're on that same Roller Coaster Drive where, because I remember going to, I woke up like, I think 5 something that morning, and people were already in line. So I left from 9th Street, I think it's 9th Street, just before you get to City Hall by that bank. I went all the way down to Dwight Zone area, close to Ken Shuffling, to see, just to drive around to see where we're going. And people were already in line. And I got some of the pictures on Facebook because I posted it, and people reposted it. And I got to this place, and I always tell this story where it was exceptionally hot. And because I'm allergic, I have some extreme allergic allergy problem. I travel with EpiPen. So even in Liberia, I will wear sleeves because I don't ever want to get sick when I'm in Liberia, right? So I'm wearing long sleeves, and people will know precisely that I'm not from there. Okay, the other time I wore journalist, but I was not from there. So this older lady came to me and said, "Ma, I have voted, but I'm working, I get money, and just buy me water so I can drink water, and then I will walk to go." She was sweaty. She had been in line for hours. And so I decided we have gone to the bank. At that time, it was 70 to 1 when I was in Liberia, it was 70 to 1. And my sister-in-law had changed like $100. So we had a bunch of money. So it was so dirty, I didn't want to touch it. So I just asked the girl, I say, "How much for your water? How much for the donut?" So I gave them the people. These kids came, ate my donut, ate my water. Then they turned around and started plotting to beat me. That I was there not to support WIA. So anybody I would not force WIA, they were going to beat them. So the police guy recognized my sister-in-law because they live around that area. Okay. But we have gone to stay in town just for the election because there were a lot of Wahala they were talking about. So the police went and said, and "Do you know the lady?" She said, "Yes." She said, "That's Dr. D's sister." He said, "Get her out of here. The children are planning to beat her." This is how we are. We're planning today to beat George Weah. Yesterday, we're planning to beat somebody for George Weah. So they ate my food. And I asked, when I was leaving, I drove and asked some of the older people. I said, "How you're voting for somebody that you're so afraid of? You're afraid of the children, but you're voting." They said, "But what would we do? What would we do?" So today, we're on our same route. We know some of the flaws and the shortcomings of some of these people. Even some of our advocates, the Lofa Rightfully Chronicle, and I'm not going to call names and how you call it. Like I say, it's obvious, it's glaring. Nobody has said you don't want to know. Sometimes we don't want to know. We know, but we don't want to acknowledge that. Okay, so we are hearing some of these people who Emmanuel Savage, when you and I were protesting in 2018, were laughing at us. When you and I were trying to get the people to stand up in 2018, 2019, they were calling us names.
In fact, one of them now who is loved by diaspora Liberians came under my post and said, "Emmanuel, you need to shut up and give this man a chance." After campaigning against the man, give the man a chance. In fact, he ended up in the camp of these individuals, benefited for almost a year, and then he said, "I withdraw my support." After they withdrew their support.
Okay.
But guess what?
Why, Emmanuel? Let me not interrupt you. Let me not interrupt you, but Emmanuel, why you insist, you say you want to beat around the bush and don't want to say Henry Custer's name? I would say Henry Custer's name. Then you want to be around the bush and don't be. We're talking about the same thing.
I am the mother. I gotta be.
Well, but if we will be honest, we can't. We cannot try to sugarcoat the information. Our people need to get it. I say this all the time. Liberians will hate you for fighting for them. My dad said this to me all the time. He said, "Distance yourself from me the day you get involved in discussing Liberian politics." And I mean, right now, when we discuss anything else, we can talk about. But when it comes to Liberian politics, I said, somebody got to do it. Somebody got to sacrifice. I am willing to take the heat because you know what? Our people, again, some of them are so gullible that when you speak the truth about a certain individual whom they feel like they have loyalty to, then they take it personal. They're not looking at the logical aspects of things. Okay, this is a man, like you rightfully said, Emmanuel Custer, of all people, during the elections, all right? This young man and I reached out to Henry Custer. I said, "Look, I will relay your information every day because the message that you're giving out here is helping our people, it's educating our people." And what's going on? I did whatever they could. But When Costa came out and referred to all Liberians as with the insults after the elections, all right, after he did not win, that's when I came out and I said, you know what, this young man, he has a potential. But I think some of the things that need to be worked on is either he needs to kind of address the issue of his arrogance, and I address it publicly. He blocked me. I don't have problem with it. He talking personal, but here is it. We're not going to turn this conversation. We will not turn this conversation. Let me just let it say it, Cindy. We will not turn this conversation about an individual. But if we see some of these faults among us, I think we should say, Emmanuel Savage, how many times have you and I not gone at it? Emmanuel Savage and I have gone at it like every time. Even with the issue concerning on a Darius DeLong $40,000 vehicle, when Emmanuel brought it up, I came out, I defended on the Darius DeLong. I said, you know what? Because he was not in the position at the time when the decision was made to purchase those vehicles. Now, when the next procurement decision is being made, if he agreed, then we can discuss that. But when people continue to walk away, they are afraid of being criticized. They're afraid of the insults by some other kids on the internet who would just say, because I support this guy and you're speaking against him, so to put up a podcast and start to rain insults at you, and Liberians go out there and start to applaud them.
Hold on, we said.
This is where we are.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much, Lofa. Lofa actually approached me on what he's talking about. We had like a lengthy, I think maybe an hour or two discussion. He says, I'm not going to support until this man come and apologize to the Liberian people. If that ever happened, I'm not sure. But I do have one of the ground holder in Liberia, Franklin Wister, who have been a justice advocate, who literally thought we are one of those people that were going to bring us justice. We want to get his mindset where we are. Where do you think the road ahead for Liberia is? What will answer where we are at this point? Since Letty is calling, we said go ahead. We are listening to you. You're loud and we're listening. Go ahead.
Yes, let me begin by thanking you, Cindy.
Hold on, sis.
The comrade Lofa there who I've heard of or heard about but have not seen, and my friend and brother, I would say a comrade in arms, Emmanuel Savage.
Yes.
I would just try not to be more than 3 or 4 minutes into this discussion, because I'm interested more in listening to what you guys are saying. But let me just shed little light on a few critical points. Our country, Liberia, brags of being the oldest republic in Africa, endowed with so much resources, with a very low population compared to other African countries. But I don't know why we are, at a slow pace amongst the Committee of Nations. And I also don't know if some of us care to ask some of the hard questions. What's responsible for our backwardness as a country? How many of us have really found answers to why the 1980 coup was staged, why the 1985 invasion by Kumba was launched, and why the 1989 Liberian Civil War, was fought? If we ask ourselves all of those questions, we might be able to answer why. But a lot of us don't care about asking these questions, and we are only, running around with, we had a coup d'etat. There was a rebel incursion in 1989. There was another, failed coup by Kumba and others.
Right.
The reason why I'm recounting these incidents or instances, it is because those are the accounts the TRC took into consideration and have held some people culpable and have recommended several recommendations. And the TRC that the Liberian people agreed upon, for which about at least $8 million United States dollars of our hard-earned resources was spent, over 20,000, testimonies gathered from, people who played active roles in the Liberian Civil War. The reason behind the TRC was to find a lasting reconciliation, lasting peace amongst Liberians, attempting to put the past behind us. What happened? when President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was mentioned in the TRC as one of those to be barred from public office for 30 years, and she was already at the helm of authority, what did she do? She muzzled the TRC, stage managed a kind of a complaint she took to the Supreme Court, and the TRC was dealt a heavy blow. Hence, the reason why even Councillor Jerome Vodia fled the country and so forth. Now,
and we said, and his children were almost kidnapped and brought to Liberia to bring him back to Liberia. So
exactly,
yes.
Exactly. We are all aware of what happened, and some of us fled to exile. We spent all of our youthfulness in exile, and we started concerning ourselves with how do we return and trying to rewrite our country's history. That is how some of us got involved with what we are getting involved with. But let me just tell you why I am the most disappointed Liberian. I don't know if there is anybody more disappointed than me. I just left Liberia. I just left Liberia because of threat to my life.
Yep, I remember.
My own, personal security was very much at risk. I was being hit by members of the ruling establishment, and then the warlords. Now, the warlords are still nursing the ambition that they have the blessing of the current leadership of the country, and that any attempt to prosecute them, they will speak to the people, and the people will deny the present leadership their votes in the event that they want to go for a successive term. And members or apologists for the current leadership are seeing our case as a kind of a threat to their successive plan or their succession plan. And if we are to take their reason as a reason why the Liberian people should not, accept the implementation of the TRC recommendations, then I can only say that those reasons are very selfish and they are political. And in as much as we continue to take side when it comes to the common good of the Liberian people on our political line, we will only be doing all of these things and will not be heading anywhere. Today, many Liberians will agree with you that people died in ways and manners they shouldn't have. Many Liberians will agree with you that the likes of Prince Johnson, G.B. Coman, and George Bull and others are still very much around in Liberia. Many will agree with you that an agreement was reached, that the TRC commission do a piece of job, and that all of its recommendations as provided by the act that created the TRC, all of its recommendations must be implemented. And that the act that created the TRC also provides that it did not or does not provide for a third-party view. That is why when Commissioners Fair Bamboo and the peace be upon his artist, Bakuma Kone, Sheikh Bakuma, I don't know how to call him, had dissent on what the other commissioners agreed upon. They said that would not hold water because it did not provide any room for that. How come we have this instrument still very much available? A young man who enjoyed the popular vote of confidence of the Liberian people, as indicated in the just ended elections, 14 counties voted this man, said yes. And the reason is just simple. It is not far-fetched. The reason is that this man is perceived to be a man with clean hands.
Yes.
He is a person that came from the downtrodden masses. He knows what hardship is. He went to school on empty stomach. He had to eat farina in the night to go to bed. He woke up and he was just like one of those ordinary Liberian children, who managed to rise to stardom. And when he rose to stardom, he started, making us to believe that he is people-centered. George Weah was not being supported or is not being supported in Liberian politics because he conquered the world through football. Some of us made a case for him when it seemed impossible. And our reason for making a case for a Weah presidency was because the ordinary man saw himself in George Weah.
Yep.
Now, this young man, look at the way he even got the presidency. In an unimaginable fashion. You should be asking yourself, how come that the standard bearer of a ruling establishment will at the 11th hour go against our own party to lend support to the biggest opposition political party in the country?
Yep.
If these are not political manipulations, you tell me what they are. You have today some of the president or other higher ups were caught in a corruption web at the central bank. You sent them to Saw Beach, and the son of the president and a few other persons complained about headache and complained about heat and that their health was poor. Are you telling me that the Saw Beach was built for the poorness child? These people were left out, and there are some pre-trial detainees today in Saw Beach. Nobody can make a case for them. You see the kind of country we are? When you raise these issues, our friends who have got no rebuttal to our argument, the only thing they will say, oh, my man, they want to finish. Let the sleeping dog lie. You know, we already elected Prince Johnson. Yes.
So hold that thought, we said. Let me bring Emmanuel back to add to your word. Emmanuel, are you logging on twice? Because I see another request from you. Emmanuel, are you there? Let me see. I don't know what's going on with him. I see another request for him. Let me see.
Since you said Emmanuel froze up, so that's probably why.
Okay, he sent me another request. Okay, I'm see if I can bring him. Okay, so we said let me. Somebody's calling from Liberia. We said hold on. Somebody's calling from Liberia. Let me see this person. Insert a code. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Sir Yasini, and this is Mark Jabate.
Mike, welcome. Go ahead. What's your thought?
And my thought after I listened to one of my brothers and just now when you and speaking concerning the justice and accountability, and we see in Mama Liberia sometimes, and we should bring ourselves our own problem in this country. Those who committed crimes against humanity, but right, they should face justice.
Okay.
But if you look at this government, if you look at those we are president, we are government, you will find out that he's protecting some of the guys that committed crimes against humanity.
Right.
Even this guys who fought for Model, the former Model chief of staff, Kafari, was appointed as Secretary of Ganji, the country. If you look at men like George Boley, George Dwyer, who was accused of killing innocent people at Luchin Church, he's now working with the president. He now
and Joe Wiley, the General for Law, yes.
Yeah, you know, I know George Dwyer. Now Joe Wiley is not working. Joe Wiley was the only man.
Joe Wiley is the one, and Mike. Joe Wiley is the one that is training. Listen to me. George Wallace, George Wiley, WYLI is the one that training we are new army. Those children that they collected. I'm telling you, you will come to find out.
I'm coming to that.
Okay, go ahead.
I will explain something, just 2 minutes. I will give you more details.
Okay.
Joe Wallace from the Southeast State.
Yes.
He was the only man that was not charged by the TRC. He was set free by the TRC based on the explanation he made. But then today, he served as Deputy Defense Minister on it and Lair Rebel and the NNTT Judy Bryant. After that, and things were very, very difficult with him. He used to walk around and things, and he tended to complete, how they call it. He was so hungry. So at the end of the day, he from the submission, they're going over to train some of the medicine to provide security, for President George Weah government.
So
what I'm talking about. It means that, it's true. It's true that it's 20 years going on. So sometimes people will say, Mike, you're not stable, you're not inconsistent. There are certain things in life you have to be very, very mindful. Where you find people, when you go to the NSA, you have all the APC, the Rebel, the what, they are all work at the NSA. They are interacting with somebody that I know them. So sometimes people will say, Mike, my security can't fight, my life can't fight. Sometimes you will come out to please the government for security reasons. Sometimes you criticize the government. Because at the end of the day, when you die like having grief. So what I'm trying to say around here, George Dwyer, he now with the president. George Dwyer now with the president. And they told what this man is now carrying on training, security men to provide security for President George Weah. So it means that anything in the past, they all pour in their mess here. Because when you were on the ground here, Ellen then should have pushed a work and Sabino in the time to implement the PRC recommendation, because she did not do that. So we are is following the full step of former President Ellen to say, look, this woman did not commit herself to the TRC recommendation. Why? I would just tell me, why must I commit myself? And I always listen to my good friend and brother Emmanuel Service, and we all join him. But it's difficult. If we were suffering. Say Yasini. Our people are suffering. Say Yasini, can you imagine? And if you travel from here all on the highway, you will see your grandmother, you will see your grandfather. They are all sitting down. They are old. There is no drugs at all. If you go to Phoebe Hospital, the Capital Hospital, people are dying. People are dying. Especially there's few towns here. Most of the clinics, they use a generator. They use gasoline. There is no gasoline. There's no clinic operating now. The only thing you go there to take a resettlement I gave you. But some of our brothers there on social media, because they want job, they will continue to defend the government on wrong. But our people are suffering. Say Yasini. Say Yasini, when you go in these little towns and villages, you will see little girls at the age of 13, 14. They just born. So you and myself have responsibility. This is why I'm telling you today, say Yasini, to conclude, you use your energy as a female. Today in Ghana, people are watching you. When you speak, people in Ghana, people in Canton, people in the Cape Verde, they monitor you. Use the energy as a female to unite yourself, the coalition, so that we can redeem this country from the hands of the political bandits, from the hands of the political con artists. Our people are suffering yesterday. Forget about whether you have interest of Arizona coming, you have interest of Waka. Let us stand together and redeem this country. Today, good people are not rewarded in this country. People will think that these are the people that are enjoying life today in Malabrigo. For this generation, you and myself have responsibility for our country, say Yasini. I'm calling on you today, my mother. You are my auntie, my mother. Use your energy as a female to bring this Waka and Arizona coming together so that we can redeem this country. Our people are dying. I thank you so much, my beautiful auntie. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Mark. Okay, I'm going to go back to, you can hang up. I'm going to go back to, we said, Emmanuel, speak to us.
Yes.
We said you're still Emmanuel, and we said we'll come back in our. We got what time is it? An hour can run too fast. We got 30 more minutes. Let's go ahead, Emmanuel. Your turn. Wow, that was powerful.
Let me greet.
Mike, that was just powerful and heart wrenching. And it just, I don't know if you saw Mike, Max Mixer podcast the other day. He literally cried. Let me re-emphasize, if you're on here, there were 210 of you watching. Please share this video. I see people share video where people are just using female anonymity, and you share it for those who are being abused, being dissected, where you either let out or periodicals and all of these things. We send it. Somebody calling from Texas. But now I'm telling you, share this video so our people can get educated. And Liberians, I'm sorry, those of you who don't understand Lofa, there's nothing he can do about that. He grew up here and he got to live here. He went to school here. This is his life. And like when the white men come to your country, you don't tell them not to speak. You learn to listen to them. And that's how we survive. So for me, I got to learn both. So you can't fault him for that. This is what the war did to us. We all left to survive.
I really wish I had Lofa Julius' accent, to tell you the truth. But that's the way Liberians will tell you you're not a Liberian. That's the way to do it.
We say, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Because there are other people. Let me
say, if that's the only thing that we use to classify me as a non-Liberian, then they failed, because I'm from Lofa County. That's what I carry my county name.
Emmanuel, go ahead. Guys, look
oh my God. That, right? People look at my skin color and say, this guy's not a Liberian. Why do you even listen to him? But anyway, folks, let's go back to the real issue here. Mike Jabade, great guy, always like to hear his voice. He's funny, makes me laugh all the time, but he's serious about Liberia.
Yes.
We said, my revolutionary salute to you. I'm from the University of Liberia now, or at least political parties in Liberia. Please accept it in that manner. Anyways, let me get back here. Says, the War and Economic Crimes Court is a serious issue in the Republic of Liberia. Let me just go back to the wings. From the days of Charles Taylor to today's date, we believe where many Liberians are is where redemption is. That's what we think.
But that's not true.
I witnessed President Charles Taylor at the time, only a rebel leader, coming to be inducted as one of the 5-man committee to lead Liberia into an elections. And even my grandmother came on the road to see this brilliant, quote unquote, brilliant man. And the crowd were just so many, and people were just laughing. He mesmerized them with his voice, his looks, his charisma. At the end of the day, even after the killings of Liberians by him, he created an anti-terrorist unit, and they flocked and killed innocent people and did nothing for the country after 1997, in which he won the election by 75%. What did the crowd do? Elected another president that did nothing. Then we saw the George Weah crowd.
Yeah.
Look, there is something about a crowd that we got to be careful with in Liberia. There is something about our people. And the reason why our people are like this is because of the war. When you don't know better, you don't act better. Poverty will never bring the best out of anyone. I bet you, sis, yeah, all of the confidence that you, Julius, or Franklin will have at this moment is because of some independence. If you were the normal Liberians in Liberia depending on these guys to be able to eat, to be able to do something for yourself, you will not have the same mentality. So I kind of cut the people a slide, let them do what they can do.
Yeah, you empathize. Yeah,
I empathize with them. I look, I see these people elect all kinds of people, and they say they're in the interest of Liberians. But at the end of the day, what they want us to do is to forget that 250,000 people die in Liberia. And if we forget that, you think we'll forget that there were gas shortage or shortages in the Republic of Liberia? Of course we will. We will also forget $16 billion was an issue about a year ago. We'll forget that $25 million disappeared in thin air. We'll forget that $400 million was unaccounted for at Noka. Because we are forgetting that 250,000 of our people were killed. Now, the continuation of impunity in the Republic of Liberia, many of us say, oh, George, I don't want it. That's what we taught the people. Look, impunity continued not just before the war, after the war. The TRC in 2008, after I listened to all of these testimony, you wonder, first of all, why we spent $8 to $20 million listening to testimony if we didn't want to do anything about it. Why must we unearth the truth that 6 years, and I'm not saying that you did, murder 250,000 or murder a family when you don't want to do anything about it? Now, the reason why impunity continues under George Manuel Weah is because we are crazy kind of people. We are crazy. And the majority of us are crazy. And I am not sorry for making this statement. Let me take the craziness first to our president. First, the president said he does not want war in economic crime scope. But before, he said, this is what I want. Those who committed heinous crimes has to be persecuted. But then he was peace ambassador. Not peace ambassador, but also an ambassador to the United Nations. Yeah. And they were using him because of his popularity. Right. And he's on record for saying that in his government, war law would not work there. But guess what? After we are one, you will fire up, I will fire up that the one good thing that will come out of this president will be that he will persecute those who committed heinous crimes. Yep. He disappointed us. But let me tell you about craziness. He went to the United Nations and sat in front of the white people. And he talks about how the perpetrators and victims need justice because the perpetrator wants to clarify or wants to make sure they clear their name, and the victims want justice. And he talked about how he needs help. And the man goes back to Liberia. He arrived at the airport and he saw his fellow Liberian that he got no respect for. What did he say? He said, I'm trying to develop this country and you're talking about war crimes code? Yeah. Look, craziness is from the top to the bottom. And that country needs healing. The psychological problem in Liberia, we may think is funny, but I am telling you, after the war, the victims are many. They are all around in Liberia. Unless we address those issues, I am telling you, you will continue to elect those bad leaders. Our president will always be bad. Liberia will never develop, and our people will never support war and economic crimes. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad that I have somebody like you, somebody like Julius, you have me, somebody like Franklin, somebody like Kelvin Yeager, and all of those guys in Liberia and other Liberia fighting for war and economic crimes code. We must unite under one umbrella, or even at different fronts with different organizations out of political life and political parties, and fight for war and economic crimes code. Otherwise, after George Weah, Liberia will deteriorate even on another Harvard University graduate. That is my conviction. War and Economic Crimes Code will solve the problem. And if you had that, I'll tell you right now, George Weah would not have built 47 condominium thinking that you would do nothing about it.
Let me,
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Let's let Wisa finish his thought. He got to run to a meeting. I'm honored to have you on such a short notice. Wisa, go ahead. We are all ears. Go ahead.
Yes. So thank you very much. As you said, I'm running late for a meeting. Everybody is just saying exactly what I want to say, but I will just leave with this discussion. Liberia is going nowhere. Nowhere, I mean nowhere. It refuses to hold people accountable for the acts of mayhem and atrocities they committed in the country, and bring to book economic vampires who have been responsible for the underdevelopment of our country, and the likes of Prince Johnson, you name them, including even President Weah, who is making some of us to feel that he's shielding these perpetrators, must not be given a second chance in public offices come 2023. Now, this is what we are going to resort to doing. We as justice campaigners, if these people will not lend us ears to implement the TRC recommendations, I've already started that campaign on my Facebook page, and I will all of you to join me in this regard. We will launch a massive campaign across the country to ensure that no war law be elected to public office. Yes, we made a mistake yesterday. We can correct the mistake because we learned from your mistakes, including those who are shielding. We will bring them as accomplices, people who are aiding and abetting these war laws, shielding them from justice. They themselves will not be deserving of our trust. Liberia is the only country where civil war was fought, and these acts of atrocities visited that have not given meaning to the past by learning its lessons. Look at Sierra Leone, look at Rwanda, look at Congo, look at all of those places that people fought civil war. They have given meaning to the past by learning its lessons. They have ensured that people are held accountable. And until we do that, this country, and let me emphasize, this country called Liberia will go nowhere. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Franklin. Thank you for your contribution. We're going to have more of this show. We're going to do this. We're going to try to do this in the coming maybe once a week, even for an hour, to bring people to, I know Emmanuel do that every day, but we want to be able to do this on this platform. We need to educate people. We will be going live in Lofa County and in the Mekani the beginning of March to bring people to understand what this is about. Thank you so much. All right, so I see somebody's calling. Lofa, what's your thought? There are a lot of calls coming in. Second, what is where you're calling from, please?
Okay.
My name is Kali. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Khalil, go ahead.
My thought is,
speak up a little bit, project your voice.
Make a lot of sense. And also, we Liberians, we don't know how to talk politics and also share glass. We have a very bad issue. We don't love one another. And we don't want to accept what is wrong. We don't want to accept what is wrong. And I was just listening to my director from Liberia. It makes me shed tears because I feel like we keep talking and we're not helping nothing, because I mean, the people back home are suffering, and we still elected the same people into the government that we all saying here today, because the people that kill, people that do all the stealing, we still putting in there over and over. We are going nowhere as Liberians, like the guy just said, because we keep judging so much and we talk about our friends so much. Because look at Lofa just speaking. People are jealous of how he speaks, and some of them trying to speak like him, the better can speak like him. Why would the local team be issued in Liberia? Let's solve the need for it instead of sitting down here talking to propaganda against one another. We need to face the real issue. And the real issue is what Imaya going back. So Imaya, if you have your GoFundMe, you can start me with it, and I will donate a little bit I have. So thank you guys so much for this program.
Thank you. Thank you. Another person, Lofa, go ahead and I'll take the other course. Go ahead, Lofa.
Lofa, just before you start, I'm sorry there to the caller that just called. The GoFundMe is pinned under this broadcast. So
yes,
thank you very much for your willingness to make a contribution. It's right there, so you can go ahead and make a contribution. Sis, y'all please remind the audience about it. We need every help that we can get.
I am, and I'm posting each of the line, guys. We got 1,700. We have not even reached 2,000 yet. We need $10,000. To be caller, please hold on for me.
Okay.
Another caller, please hold. The phone is hot. Listen, Emmanuel needs to leave. You don't need your money to pay his way. Emmanuel needs to be able to feed the people in Liberia. People need to be able to find a way to get to the place for protest. We will be locking down what do you call it, the House of Legislature, to make sure, because they're supposed to make this happen. We want people to come from everywhere. No, we're not telling we have to step down. We're telling we have to act and do what he promised us to do. So we need you on board. Listen, we know majority of us is tax time. There are over 800,000 of us here in America alone. Those of you in Europe, if you need to, I remember Mr. Dishu, we needed when we ADD was running. Majority of people in Europe who send me money, they send it via MoneyGram. And I went and pick it up and we deposited it and send it to the rightful people. We can still do that. We can collect this money so this man alone don't carry all of the burden. You know, we can continue to be on welfare. We all hyper, we want this done, but then we want one person to pay for it. It's not going to work. And that's why bad people continue to lead us, because we're not willing to stand and make the sacrifice. The reason why in America, our leaders are answerable to us, like yesterday, my district representative and my senator acknowledged my birthday. They inboxed me and they posted on Facebook because of my contribution. They know me personally. I hold them accountable. I emailed them. So when you're talking about this justice and accountability, you should be able to also add your voice. No, the one for the digital, how you call it, we'll talk about it after we get to half of where we are. Okay, we also need those steps that when Emmanuel gets back, Lofa can play it, I can play it, the world will play it, Georgia Tech will have it, it will be our document to use. So that said, Lofa, go ahead and I will get somebody. Lofa, hold on, somebody call, let me get him. Caller, what is your name? Where you're calling from? You calling from Jersey? Please hold on, let me get this caller. Caller, what is your name? Where you calling from, please? Hello? There was a caller from Minnesota.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir. What's your name? Where you calling from? Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. My name is Boy. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay.
Okay. I was able to listen to the show. I follow your show. I also follow you girls and Emmanuel. And I just want to first of all tell you guys, thank you for the show. You know, and I always tell people, Liberians outside, I always say, don't be too comfortable to where you are and reject where you're from.
Yes.
I honestly say these things because I look from the Bible biblically. I look at the children of Israel when they were in Egypt.
Yes.
And Moses had to go back to Egypt to get the children out. Even though Moses went there, some of them were not satisfied. Even though he was doing the right thing, he was not satisfied. You know, I said this also to say, listen to Emmanuel, and I think he said it right. If we depend on the people in Liberia to bring that change, I tell you no lie, my baby sister, that change will not come.
Yes.
We also who go have given the opportunity to, we need to gather around each other and work towards how we can change our country for the better.
Thank you.
We need to do it holistically to go back and help our people, because our people are already lost. First of all, like the war, like he said, Taylor came, the war on the street, they yelled for Taylor. They brought Taylor in. You understand? They voted for Taylor because they said they were afraid war was going to come. We just told them, I said, look, if you vote for a warlord, know that war will still come. You understand, whether you like it or not. You understand, right? It gets a matter of time. You know, and they go through the same thing over and over. But we over here who God has blessed, I think it is our responsibility to rally around each other, to go back and educate our people and not just leave it with them.
Yes. And that's precisely what Emmanuel has been doing. And in fact, in this country, the America would not have woken up the Black community had it not been for advocacy. And let me say to those who think your education is not impactful, that is a lie. We need to be on the ground and we need to be verbal. Now that we have a medium of communication, that all of us don't have to be on the ground. But if we can support one person who will impact 1,000 more to impact and kind of chronicle these things all around the county, then let's use that medium, okay? Let's use that medium. And one of the things, my brother, that I was talking about this morning, I hear advocates, okay? Some who are on, and this is not to be derogatory by any means, okay? Because some of them, this is their way of life, right? They think they should down the other people who, if the goal is for all of us to reach somewhere, if it's about Liberia, why try to undermine the next person or say you're better, because you're not better. You're not any better than anybody. Because the thing is, if I have one person listening, that one person life that would have changed. That's all I need. That's all I need, one person. And I'm sure it's not one person that you've touched, that I have touched, that Lofa touched, that Emmanuel and the rest of the other advocates will all bring something to the table. And those things that we bring to the table collectively, it becomes symbolic of us, our holisticness. If we can approach it from that end and say, listen, I'm not good at cussing. Somebody else is. Like, we listen to cuss. I'm not good at speaking so loudly, but somebody else does. So that way Liberia is used to. They used to fight the people. Then we use that as a conduit to get our people attention until they can come out of the cave. But never to kind of isolate one another. But thank you for your voice. Go out and support Emmanuel. Now, Justice for Liberia is not Emmanuel that you're supporting. Emmanuel, what is your name? You register your organization, and what that name is?
It's LOJA for short, Liberians United for Justice and Accountability.
Liberian United for Justice.
Liberians United for Justice and Accountability. So we launched that organization. The organization exists there since 2018. We are launching it in Liberia on the 29th of February. Kelvin and I will leave Canada next week. And we're trying to rally Liberians to make sure war and economic crimes court becomes a topic in Liberia in everybody's mouth. That's the first thing we need. And then people start to get scared, because there's something about, the wave of politics in the mouths of people. And we'll make genuine about it, and we can do that away from politics. Okay. That's what we intend to do.
I will test him. I will test Emmanuel.
Okay.
Maybe I will get that information.
Yes.
I just want to conclude to let you know that, I love all the advocates. You and Emmanuel are my best too. I love everyone.
Thank you.
Emmanuel, one of my best too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
All right. So Lofa, it's your turn. Somebody else will call in and we'll call them back when you're finished, Lofa.
Okay. I will start off first of all by saying this. I listened to Nita, I think it was Nita, the lady who called and wanted to address.
Kade. That's Kade.
Kade, okay. Yeah, it was Kade. Yeah. Let me say to you, sis Kade. Let people not be bothered by people focusing on my pronunciation. I think the focus of the subject for discussion here is the implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court, because every day when I go to work, I have a team of 10 people whom I have to do presentation to. And when I'm out in the field training, I have to do it. So it's complicated to have to just flip-flops between one way of pronunciations and don't do it the other way. So I don't get offended when people say I'm speaking one way or the other, because you know what? I work at McDonald's for my job to maintain my family. You're not going to take me out of it to speak another way. So please do not get offended if people are referring to me whatever way or claiming that I'm whatever. Do not get offended, because these are things that come with the struggle. We fighting for something specific for Liberia. Don't take it personal. It's okay. I'm a human like anybody else. I am okay to criticism. Now, with that said, let me just say this, right? I want to emphasize on one thing here about the War Crimes Court. The War Crimes Court, for a lot of us Liberians who don't understand, it is what I refer to as the last result. All right? And let me read for you forbiddingly from the website of the International Crimes Court. I have given this to you several times, and people, I would say, the ICC prosecute individuals for war crime. The ICC does not prosecute the nation. It prosecutes individuals, all right? Crime against humanity and genocide. Now, but take this, only if government don't do so first. What am I emphasizing on the but aspect of this is because we are getting to the point where I can tell every Liberian, including Emmanuel Chavez, who literally have his face in the forefront of this advocacy, that right now you can just sing victory because your voice is so loud that even a colleague of mine who is an attorney, all right, an attorney actually reached out to me and was like, you're from Liberia, right? We heard of these guys in Liberia who were trying to implement the war crimes court. And he started to narrate my own story to me from the 80s. He's an attorney. And I'm looking at this Caucasian man, and I'm not saying he's not Liberian, he's Caucasian. And he knew like my story more than I even knew about it. So I'm listening to him. He said, but one thing I can tell you, it sounds more like you guys are getting frustrated that it would not happen. But the only recommendation that I can give to you is continue to speak. You are being heard, not only in your community, but thank you, it is being heard globally.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Globally. So when you start to hear these things, when you start to hear people, and I'm saying a Caucasian man who is an attorney say that our voices are being heard, I will definitely want to say to Emmanuel in this public manner, thank you. Thank you for the fact that you are being consistent. Okay. Thanks to all of you advocates who are being consistent in your advocacy. It may not come tomorrow or the day after, but justice will be served in Liberia. It's just that our people need to be educated. More of them need to get the education about the implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court. Even if we don't get the Economic Crimes Court, I think the War Crimes Court in Liberia should definitely take its course so that we can set deterrent from those people. The combination, the War and Economic Crimes Court will only help us so that those whom I refer to as scavengers will not continue to eat and prey on our people. Because, and this is not only for the people of Liberia. I know, I see how people, a lot of times, they said those who are in Liberia. No, that is not true. Our brothers leave from here, they go back home and take advantage of the people in Liberia. Some of them leave in the land of opportunity, where you and I can be able to obtain 3 or 4 jobs based on your availability and based on your strength, your willingness. Okay? Yes. We can obtain jobs where there isn't jobs for everybody. Some of our brothers will leave from here and run over there to take jobs. And when they take some of those positions, they are incompetent. They are only focusing on stealing, on corruption. They're taking everything from the people. So the people are left with nothing but to wonder as to whether we are for them or we are against them. And Madam Ellen Sally Johnson literally put the stamp in the book when she paid tens of thousands of dollars in support of the killing, the humiliation of our innocent people. So, I mean, it's not over yet. All of us, our voices will get even louder as time goes by. But I want to tell all of you that the fight just began. But people out there are listening to us. We cannot give up when our cries are being heard. When the music sounds good, nobody gives up the dance floor. Everybody continues to dance. And right now, Emmanuel got us to the point where we got a lot of people on the dance floor. We are dancing. If the DJ can continue to play good music, it would be hard for people to get up the dance floor because we will continue to dance. And the DJ in this case will be Emmanuel Chavez, Yacindes, and the rest of us who continue to speak on behalf of justice, accountability in our country. But it should not be selective. Like your last caller said, it has to be done holistically. We cannot be selective. We can continue the selective seeing, the selective advocacy, and all of these things. When you speak against Cummings, says you shouldn't get mad, you should not speak against Cummings. When you speak against boycott, George Lobo gets upset. You should not speak against boycott. When you speak against George Weah, no, we will have to focus on Liberia as a nation and not individuals who are trying to accomplish what they want to accomplish. I just thought to add that to it.
I don't get mad when somebody go off. I mean, Emmanuel and Aku, Emmanuel, my little brother. So he talk all the time. And sometimes I just invite like, Emmanuel, where do I hold you today? So for me,
right. I had to use you as an example, though. I had to use you as an example.
I agree. A good leader we need to try his temperament. We want to know his emotional intelligence. We want to see how he can take this. We're making take. We need to know that. We don't need a man that will call names, then he go and say nobody will walk the street of Monrovia or Liberia, or you gotta go get you people out of your country. I'm gonna destroy them all because they insulted my mother. Because you're taking on majority of us have mental illness, to tell you the truth. So that's just the way it is. There's a caller on the phone. Let him talk and Emmanuel will come on. Caller, go ahead.
Okay. This is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Rhode Island, Emmanuel Zaza.
Emmanuel, go ahead. Emmanuel Zaza, how are you?
Yeah,
go ahead. What's your thought?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for the show. And I want to thank everyone on the show today, especially Mr. Service.
Yes.
Sometimes I inbox him, and I've said this before, and I continue to say, I wrote this on Facebook, that if there should be no campaign in the country that is considered serious, the campaign for economic and war crime code should be considered everyone's business. And it's very simple. Not all of us will be presidents, not all of us will be senators, not all of us will be representatives. But all of us are compared as Liberians to pay taxes to the government. Whether you work in the government or you work in America, the fact that you make calls to Liberia or you send money to somebody, you are contributing to the economy.
Yes.
And everything that you contribute can only be important if there is a law that is going to hold people accountable for diverting those funds. And that's why I support the economic and war crime code. Now, I did not experience a father's love. My father got killed. My uncle, my mother had, my paternal grandmother has 3 children. She had 2 males and 1 female. The 3 of them got killed. That is my father and his 2 siblings.
Wow.
My maternal grandmother has 4. She had 3 female and 1 male. The male also got killed. People got killed. The other people can tell story about the entire family being wiped out. Now I'm beginning to have children. I sit and if my daughter cries for milk, it gets to me. How much more about those who ran with their parent in the bush, the parent got wounded and died with a child dead, left alone to die from hunger.
Yeah.
Many things happen during the war. I'm just going to say that because I love Josh Well, because I love Ellen, or because I love this person. So the other people that die, we should let them just die like that? For what? We see this in this country. We saw why Afghanistan is being destroyed. We saw why Iraq is being destroyed because one person feel they can hide in that place and bomb America. America went after them. All those who try to hide them, guess what? That's why all of them being destroyed. That's why Libya is destroyed because they supported Saddam Hussein. That's why Iraq is destroyed because they supported Saddam Hussein. All the people who supported Saddam Hussein, America went after them. Why are we not going after people?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I support Josh Weah. And I didn't hide it.
Yes.
Because I felt like Alexander Kumi was my first choice. But after he left, I felt like giving the party to the Unity Party was the worst thing to do.
Yes.
So there must be somebody to support. So I supported Josh Weah. That's one. Number 2, Josh Weah is the president. I'm a Christian. I believe that the leader of the country should be respected. If the leader succeed, the country succeed. But that's not me. I won't speak against his ills. The fact that CDC has come to the point to turn a back on the World Economic Council, it's a big error they have made, and they will regret it.
Thank you.
But people shouldn't come here and take this and take it like because the judge we are followers of people who supporting the World Economic Council, where were they? So because they were not there before, so they shouldn't speak now.
But we have been here though. We have been here. We supported him on that. That's why our people voted for him. That's why our people believed him in the first place. Our people didn't vote for Weah because they thought he was the most eloquent, the most intelligent, the most educated. But they thought he was going to bring them justice, that he could relate to them and relate to their plots and understood that. They thought he was like most of their children. Yes.
So before I leave, yesterday someone attacked me when I wrote and said Liberians celebrated a massacre So they can celebrate anything. If somebody is killed and you can celebrate, I mean, you can celebrate anything. Somebody came up to me and say, I even celebrated massacre. I asked them what it means. Said, because I never condemned war criminals. And I went back 7 years. 7 years when I challenged BBC, when I challenged the work, how do you they had to record and the Nobel Peace Prize people when they said they were honoring Ellen. When I challenged them, I have writings. I sent the writing to him. I said, it's been 7 years since I started talking. Is that because I say I support Joe and I won't speak against when Emmanuel Service and people were marching in Monrovia? I posted and I wrote. So I took all the posts and sent it to him. I said, you sit there and say, because I feel I support Joe, I say me, I support war criminals. God forbid. My father was killed. I don't know how he looks like. I don't know how he looks like. Whether he's black, he's red, he's yellow, he's blue, he's tall, he's short, I don't know. I've never heard any man look at me and say, I love you, which the father supposed to have done to the child. I did not experience that. Then I must sit there and celebrate World Congo because of support Georgia. God forbid. So my heart is out there for those of you guys who are advocating for this. Whatever we can do, like I said, I think back, Mr. Savage, he shared with me, he promised actually I'm going to buy my t-shirt. He said, whatever contribution I made will be used to get my t-shirt. I'm still standing here, I'm going to do it. So my heart out there for you guys. Our support is there for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Where my team? Where y'all go? Where did it go? Okay, look like you're still here.
I'm
okay,
still
we're
here.
going to be closing. Let me tell you one person that this will be my last call. Daniel, you can go ahead and hang up so we can close.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, bye. Thank you. Mr. Who is this person? So you have 2 minutes. Go ahead and finish your talk. I don't know what happened to Emmanuel, but go ahead.
Okay. Sis, I mean, in conclusion, let me just say this: the cliche, some of the things, or some of the concerns that we have, and some of the cliches that we have had to deal with, or we continue to hear. We need to address them. Where people would say, "A wise man changes." A wise man got you in the gutter, got you in the situation you find yourself in his or her own interest. And then when they realize that, again, things is not so gravy on the other side, or the grass is not so green, then they run back to you and say, you know what? A wise man changes. That cliche, we have heard it and we are sick and tired of it. I would, again, use quite a few people as an example to speak to this, and that is Ben Sanvi. Ben Sanvi is a very smart young man. I admire him over time. And of course, the Mo Ali and other people who now want to pretend. I think though these guys need to honestly speak to some of the issues of accountability. They should join forces with Emmanuel Savis and other people, or yourself, who continue to fight for justice in Liberia, and hopefully ask Madam Ellen Sully Johnson to take some of the money that she already have in her account and invest it in the campaign for justice in Liberia. If they really care about justice for the people, if they're really about Liberians, I think Mo Ali, who got close ties with Ellen, because I saw him on her 80th birthday, hugging and reaching out to her when Ellen paid for the death of a child who may not have been given a day on earth, because that child was pulled out of the mother's belly without a day on earth. But Ellen was given 80 some more years on earth. Her kids are literally living the best of life. But Ellen paid for the death of those innocent kids, for our brothers and sisters to be turned into what you categorize today as Zogos. And Ellen can go in the store, the supermarkets, and people applaud and celebrate her and post with her for photo ops. Let me tell you something. Until the Mo Ali and other people who wine and dine with Ellen can reach out to her and say, you know what? We believe that you should support Emmanuel Chavez and other people who believe in the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court, instead of trying to bamboozle your way around. I still see them as just being literally just players. They're trying to play us like they will always do, trick or treats. All right. They show us the treats, they trick us, and then they get what they want, because that's all these guys are looking for. They were at the prime. They had everything to themselves. They enjoy everything. And today, because they don't have it no more, so the voices have become louder. Their voices, boom, it's louder than you can imagine. But I don't think we will accept this. We will move forward, and we will continue to educate our people in the best way possible. If we will have to play all of the videos from the war in Liberia, we would do it. If we would have to replay Emmanuel Save's podcast, we would do it. And even at time, even though Henry Costa and I, like, he blocked me, but if I have access to some of his information that he had played, I will play it. The young man is brilliant. He speaks to some of the issues, but yes, again, we all have to be held accountable for our actions in our society, and accountability is a key. We all have to do that and keep it void of individual sentiments and all the negativities about individuals. And in that regard, we will accomplish what we want to accomplish holistically as a nation and bunch of patriots, not individuals or based on tribes or political affiliation. And that is the best way I think we can solve the problem in Liberia. I want to say thanks again for having me on Citizen. I already got to run to another meeting. Emmanuel, thank you. I will definitely get in contact with you. I really appreciate you, what you continue to do. So thank you all for listening. Folks, it's not over yet. The fight continues. We will win. I can tell you that. Liberia will become a better place. We will all sit at a table together. We will wine and dine together on the table, and we will have this conversation. You remember, Emmanuel, when you and I were on the show together, this conversation will be held. Our kids will talk about what we have done, and I am very, very positive that God above will definitely protect all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lofa. Emmanuel, I'm going to bring you briefly to do your closing statement. Give me 1 second. There's a general person on the phone from New York. Guess what is your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Hi, everyone. My name is Koto Balayan, Koto Jala Balayan.
Yes, Koto, welcome.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you, Yasmin, and thanks Maria Salas and Lofa Julius. And I want to take this time to say happy belated birthday. I did not have the chance yesterday to wish you happy birthday.
Thank you, sis. You owe me lunch.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
For sure, I do that. Okay. So the issue with what Emmanuel Salas is, advocating, it's so sad for us at this time. We are still hauling and pulling concerning this issue with the war crime court. I sometimes just sit making this. I'm telling you, now, I don't sleep to tell my husband, tells me, why are you worried about Liberia problems so much? You can't sleep with this. I'm just sitting, and for one end, I just trying to make this, advocating, trying to do this, all angles, just to see Liberia to where, or compared to some of our neighbors. I don't know whether other people are like that, but my Miami is just to have that peace for Liberia. It's something that today that we can be talking about our own people, advocating for peace, advocating for justice, advocating for the economic crime, and I see our own Liberians who are supposed to be benefiting that cannot support this advocacy. It's so sad, Right next door, like Sierra Leone, what they did.
The same thing.
Somebody who other Liberia who were part of their program, their problem in Sierra Leone. They ran after them in Liberia. Our president is today in prison because the people wanted to speak justice. But we who were directly affected are going flying back with the whole process. It's sad. And I tell you, I am in support in any other way that we can make sure that this process comes to light. I will support the process.
Thank you,
we will continue to talk about it, whatever means that we can do to get this process unfolded. It hurts me so bad that we see people, we say we want people, but yet we are advocating, we are putting in people, we are going behind the
killers and criminals and black money people and child rapists. That's the same criminal behavior. Yes. Thank you, sis.
Yeah, all of this combined. And we still sit there with somebody look at the day again. I got just to get up on the street and see another ad on Facebook again.
Yeah.
I mean, because no justice.
Mr. Miller died. Yeah, beat up, brutalized Blair internally according to his family to death, allegedly. And no investigation, and there's a background conversation going on. The man posted on Facebook, they're going after him. Why did he post on social media? And it makes this person look bad, made that person. When does justice and accountability make any country look bad? No nation, absolutely no nation progress or succeed without justice and accountability. No nation. But finish it to says you got a minute. And also we can finish. I have a meeting to be at. I'm 10 minutes late. So Emmanuel can finish his talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to make my contribution towards Emmanuel Service process. Some of us may not be that much because I'm not going to Liberia right now. As we speak, my husband is in Liberia, stranded in Liberia with his gas process. Wow. I'm going to go to do there, all of it, plus our own like, you know, I told you I have this program, democracy, right? And I trying to make sure to get this process going on to educate our people on the voting aspect. And, right. And all are inclusive. We may be on the platform, get different, you know, platform agenda, but we are all advocating for Liberia. And, yes. And see what's happening right now. My process is delayed in Liberia because of this same thing, incompetency of people with no power. And that's why we will stay talk. We will continue to talk, and nothing should deter us from not talking. I will make my own contribution. I will continue. I will get in your inbox and make sure make my contribution towards Emmanuel Service in this process. And this is how it should be. If one person is taking a stand on the issue that we all are benefiting, we support that person, and then go and make sure that process is actually successful. And that's why I want to say, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak on your platform. And in my side, I'd like to say thank you. And Julius, thank you so much for the advocacy. And we will continue to let's support one another and make sure Liberia is our country. We see Liberia to the best that we can compared to our neighbors in other countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sis. And Emmanuel, if she says she would do it, she would do it. This is the one person, even during the last protest, who sent me money to send it to, you know, for food for a group of people. So she said she would do it, she would do it. I mean, right away, she said it. I called her. I was not thinking, she said, sis, I would do it. By the time I looked, the money was in my inbox and I have to forward it to Jala to send it. Thank you so much, sis, and good day. Emmanuel, your finishing thought.
My sister, thank you very much. I appreciate your donation. I know it's there already. Thanks. I'm honored that I shared the stage with Lofa, Julius, and of course, all of the callers. Thanks for inviting me, sis. Yeah, it's always an honor appearing on your show, like what you do, advocating for the Liberian people. I'm encouraging all Liberians to continue to think about war and economic crimes. Think about the 250,000 people that died, that got no voice, that today we believe, most of us, that their spirit roam around in Liberia. We, the living, need to fight for them because they were murdered because these people wanted political power. We must not continue to just fight for politics or politicians. We must fight to make sure that impunity disappears in the Republic of Liberia. And that is why we have established successful rallies every 6 months in the Republic of Liberia and remain committed to it, to the point where we have established the Liberians United for Justice and Accountability. This is an organization that will not be running from in the office. We will be on the streets of Monrovia every day, looking for stories of victims and sharing with other Liberians and the world that war and economic crimes court is the only way forward in the Republic of Liberia. I want to thank you all so much. If you care about your relative that died, you care about your country, and you want this advocacy to be sustained, go to our GoFundMe and make your donation. We will be there. We will be there fighting for war and economic crimes court on March 3rd. Thank you very much, Cecilia, and thanks to all of you that call and have volunteered to contribute towards our March 3rd rally. Thanks, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This week, because Emmanuel leaves next week, we're going to try to keep on this marching. Even I got to go on his platform. We will make every platform, even Lofa platform, we'll talk to him to make it available. We need to raise this money. We need your help. And when that is gone to Liberia, then we'll start assembling. We here, as Emmanuel goes, we support him. I will make my donation. when the time is close. And then we need to be in DC in May. No go come, because the last schedule that they gave, we had to act or you will start getting all be bombarded, was June. So we're not bluffing, and we need to keep pushing. We in America need to keep pushing. Emmanuel from Canada on the ground need to keep pushing, and we have to help pushing to make it stronger while more people are informed to understand where we are. Emmanuel, thank you so much, and thank you for being here. God bless you. And we will, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up. So here we go. Thank you. Good day, Emmanuel.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thanks, sir.
Right. So everyone, I gotta tune in. I'm here till about from 1 to 3. It's 4:15. I gotta go. I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in today. My job out there, I took your advice very seriously. Yes, we are working tomorrow. We have the chairman of ANC on here. Oh, Mo's just coming in. We will not be long, Mo. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to finish your talk. I don't know, he just got here. What happened? Okay, Mo, I'm not sure if you were listening. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to talk. I got a meeting and they're already calling me on. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't see your, how you call it, you're muted. So try to come on. And this is my finishing thought per se. And Mo is the psych, and he can go ahead and talk to you. No nation, absolutely no nation progress without equitable justice and accountability. No nation survive with our resources being squandered every day. No nation survive without investing in its citizens. No nation survive without the citizen having hold of its economy. No nation. No nation survive without protecting the future of the nation, which is the young people. Who will be calling me? Okay. No nation does that. No nation survive. Emmanuel, I just received some money. I think this is, I don't know if that's my birthday present or that is for you. I got to ask question because, you know, I'm a girl, I need to go shopping and all. So I'm going to let Mo finish us up, make the final pitch, and we will close on him. Mo, go ahead.
You still calling me Mo?
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, well, I want to say thanks. Thanks for having me on. And I think, as usual, like I would always say, you know, the Liberian people are the most important people, and that's a fact. If you can see people, Emmanuel Save and other people, you know, leaving their family, risking their lives, that alone speaks volume. And Liberian women are the most beautiful women, and I believe that's why they will speak to this cause. But I think, in all honesty, I don't know what to say, because the reason I say I don't know what to say is because I've never seen such things that I'm seeing and I'm hearing. Never. I've never thought we would get to this point as people. And I think this is not a political issue anymore. I don't think we've gotten to the point where we as people need to put aside all politics. This is serious. This is serious. You know, people expect us to move forward. People expect us to move the country forward. Let me say to the Liberian people, no country can move itself forward, that the people can move the country forward. If the people in the country are not okay, and they act like they're okay, I don't care what you do, the country will not move forward. I think it's about time that we all get involved with the issue of justice and accountability. I think it is the time. And I think it will be a disservice if we don't do this now, our children, the next generation, the world, our neighbors will hold us responsible. You know, let me say this. Let me close with this. I think behind closed door, I was telling you, one of the things we do is when people are, let's say somebody is raped or somebody is touched or somebody harm another person, part of the healing process is to get the person who committed a crime, which is the perpetrator, to get him away from the victim. And when we get him away from the victim, one of the things we also do is by getting them away from the victim, I don't mean we just take them away from the scene or so forth. We get the police involved. We get the rightful authority involved for accountability. Now, what our accountability does is it helps in the healing process. It helps a lot. It makes a huge difference. It helps in the healing process. And it also sends a message to the rest of the world and the rest of the community or the people saying that you cannot do this and go free. But then again, it sends a message to the victim to say, you are protected. There is no need for you to be afraid. There is no need for you to be shy. There is no need for you to feel scared. The person who did this to you has been put away, has been punished for what it did. And so it helps that person, it reassures them. And so I think we are at the stage of our lives where Liberia needs that. And there is no joke about it. It's nothing personal against anybody. It's nothing against a certain group of people or a certain tribe or a certain person. No, I don't think so. I think and I believe with my heart that this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. We must not allow this time to pass us. We have harbored so much pain, so much suffering in our country. It is about time. Let's forget about this thing where I hear people saying, oh, we're all Liberians and, you know, let's just forget it. No. This is about the time that we do the right thing and do it now. And so this is why I said last time on this same show that I do support the war in the Economic Crime Court. I don't think it is an Emmanuel Save thing or it is Emmanuel Den group thing. I don't think so. I think it is the right thing to do. You know, when I see people who understand some things, who are learned, who are experienced, who are mature, just being quiet, just the fact that you are being quiet alone, knowing everything you experience, I will mother them. Some of you are on this phone. Some of you will watch the podcast later on. You can't say nothing. You can't participate. You can't contribute. And not to disrespect anybody. We've all contributed to other, whether that protests or other issues. How long will we continue to do this? It's like we are covering something. How long will we continue to wait? Are we going to pass the burden on to our own children when the people that are supposed to be held accountable are still alive? Are we going to do that? Are we going to continue to have this country where a lot of things were done, but nobody can be held accountable? This is a question. This is something that we should be thinking about. I think it is the right thing for us to do. I will encourage all Liberians. Let's do it. Let's contribute. If you can make it to Liberia to be part of it, contribute. Contribute. Please contribute. It goes a long way. Contribute. Let us do the right thing, and let us continue to seek for, the right thing to be done. Whether that the War and Economic Crime Code, whether the full implementation of the CRT, the TRC. What do you get to lose? Well, what do you get if you never committed a crime? Even if you commit, people who committed crimes, they are on the record. Like Yeke, like what the other guy named Bodniki, all these guys, they are willing and they say yes, they want to pay for what they did. They want to be held accountable. That alone should tell you that we have to move on as a people. But in doing so, we have to do the right thing, which is let's support this cause. I'm appealing to all Liberians, let's support this cause. Even the president, I'm asking the president to join this. Let's support this cause. I woke up not too long ago and I'm looking at the Facebook feeds, and it's just saddening that we've lost another person again, all because and guess what? Everybody is writing that this other one will just go away again. It will just slide away. It will just slide away again because you know what? We've built a society of, no accountability. Nobody want to be held accountable. Nobody want to punish people when they do wrong. Nobody want to say, let this person did wrong. Let's go after them. No. They don't want to do it. Everybody want to say, oh, let's go talk about it. Let's go discuss it. Let's go discuss that. Nothing against anybody personally. But I want to challenge the president. I want to challenge the lawmakers. I want to challenge all of them. That includes Senator Dillon and Senator Yomli Kanga and all these guys. Y'all want this is part of turning the light on. And I'm going to be very frank. This is part of turning the light on. This is part of turning the light on. Let all of them get involved. Let them get involved. Let it be part of the agenda as well. Let it not say, oh, and the country not ready for that year. No, the country is ready for it. The country is ready for it. I think this is the right time to do this. We can walk and chew gum. The country is ready to be rebuilt. Let's do it in all aspects, not just roads, not just few hand pumps. What good does it do to people when the people mindset, people are still passing that one frustrated and mad, pissed off, angry, depressed, feel humiliated, feel like their rights are being trampled on. And that's why you see you see people keep asking us to donate to this one, do this one, help this one, because you know what? The steps we're supposed to take, we're not taking it. The steps we're supposed to take, we're not taking it. This is the first step. This is part of the first steps in the process of healing. This is part of the first steps. And we cannot ignore this. We cannot ignore this. This should be part of the agenda. You got kids, people that support Dillon today, they're victims of the war. George Weah let them down. The other day I was listening to my brother Christmas City, and he was talking one of the reasons why he supported George Weah. And one of the key reasons was this, that people will be held accountable for what they did. Yes, they made people homeless. They killed people, parents, for no reason. So guess what? Let these people be held accountable. What are you afraid of if you say you clean, your hands are clean? What are you afraid of? Let's do this. My people, let's do this. All the noise we're making in America, we're not in Liberia. Let's push for this. Let's push for this. I know the typical Liberian mother, oh, when I get food to eat, we're not ready for work. Let me say this. Sometimes you have to make the hard decision. You have to take the hard decision to help people. People who are victims, most of the time, they don't think right. They don't act right. Because of fear, some of them don't even want to pursue this. But some of us were not fearful. We need to definitely get onto this. That being said, I want to say thank you, Sis Ya. And again, I know I came on very late. We'll try next time to make it through here on time. Thank you so much. And let's continue to support the right things in the right cause so that we can restore peace and order in our country. Again, thank you. And thanks to your listeners and your viewers. God bless. Thanks.
So everyone, let me say more. I don't know what happened. It's called drop. Let me first of all say thank you for tuning in. You're still here, almost 2 hours plus later. Please reach out to Emmanuel, okay, and help out. Again, we will be picking up next week on our Justice Walk in the United States on getting the digitized video. So we can have people like Cummings, evangelist Cummings playing it. So we can play it 24/7 so you can see what happened to you people. Maybe you were waking your conscience. to have people like Lofa who are technologically inclined to play these things, to bring us to an understanding that we need justice. So let's support him, okay? I will be giving my donation sometime next week because he will be leaving. And as he in Liberia before, how you call it, I will. At this point, I was going to go, but I've got my mom say I can't go anywhere. So I'm not. Let me just close again. Like Steve said, we're going to talk about next week the psychological effects for not having justice, being abused, and how it trickles down. So I want to say to all of you who have been here literally all day, thank you. This was a 2 hours conversation. We've gone over 2 hours and 30 minutes. I want to say thank you to all of you for availing yourself and tuning in, and all of those who call in to make an impact. Let me say thank you. All of you who have story to tell, let's tell our story together, okay? Tuesday night, we're going to tell our stories. Tuesday night, I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock. Tell me, says I want to be on. If you want to be live with me or you want to be on the phone, I will get you set up while you come live. Let's tell our stories. Maybe people have forgotten. Let's tell our story. My uncle was castrated. My grandparents were killed. Let's tell our story. Let's tell it together. Because if 250,000 people were killed, that's not just an isolated story. That's not a story of just Congo people. It's not just a story of Kram people. It's not just a story of Mandingo people. It's just not a story of Mano people. It's not just a story of Pele people, Bassa people, Lofians, people from Mangibi, or Matsarato, or anywhere for that matter. It is all of our story. It's the story of Liberia. It's our journey, the road travel. And we all have a responsibility that my brother from Minnesota called and said. I always say to us, he talked about Moses. Let me talk about Nehemiah. We are the Nehemiah. It is our job to build the walls back. It is our job to bring back to bear justice and accountability and reasoning, logic, and a new awakening of consciousness. It is our duty. Let justice win. Let justice win. From the dancing coconut tree of Maryland. Let justice reign. From the flying incense out of the Putu Mountain, let justice reign. From the cold hand of Manimba, let justice reign. From the mysterious mountain of Lopa, Wologisi, let justice reign. Healing. From the dancing sand in Montserrato. Let it rain from every hill and every mountain and every valley and every mud hill and every swamp in the Republic of Liberia. Let it rain to give us hope again. Thank you and good day. Join me tomorrow at 2 o'clock.